Greetings, boxing fans. Welcome back to the boxing book review. Sorry I've been AWOL over the last couple months. I've had nothing to do but simply work. But hopefully in the coming weeks, I can change all that. This is an update on my new arrivals and to be read list. So this is what I hope to read in the coming weeks, and I hope you enjoy it. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. The Gods of War by Springs Toledo. I've heard so many good things about this boxing author. And in this book, he has a series of boxing essays. Some about Leonard's excuses for the loss to Duran, Duran's excuses for the loss to Leonard in the second fight, in the No-Mas fight. And he talks about the greatest pound-for-pound fighters since 1920. And his number one is not Sugar Ray Robinson. So I'm really looking forward to hearing his arguments about that. So looking forward to that one. And the next one I'm going to be getting to is In This Corner by Peter Heller. This is 42 world boxing champions telling you their stories in their own words. So it's a primary source of boxing information. Introduction by the great Muhammad Ali, the greatest. This has LaMotta discussing his childhood as a hoodlum, Floyd Patterson growing up in the ghetto, Dempsey on the Willard fight and the long count. I heard about this book from one of Mike Tyson's autobiographies. So I know he mentioned this in either his first book or his second book. And what he said about it just made me want to get it immediately. So looking forward to reading In This Corner by Peter Heller. Next is one I've had on my shelf for a long time. Joyce Carol Oates on boxing. It's considered a great take on the philosophy and the psychology of boxing and fighters. Joyce Carol Oates really needs no introduction. A very highly lauded author of both fiction and nonfiction. And this is her take on the sweet science. So I can't wait to read that. It's not the longest book in the world, so hopefully I can get to that without too much procrastination. And here we have The Last Great Fight by Joe Layden. The extraordinary tale of two men and how one fight changed their lives forever. This is about Tyson Douglas. And that was the very first fight I ever saw. I was 10 years old, and my parents were watching it, and they're not even boxing fans. They were watching it just because it was the thing to watch that night. And I think from a really early age, having that on really planted the bug. Even though I wouldn't become a fight freak until much later, I have this vivid memory of watching Tyson versus Douglas and my parents jumping up and down when Douglas started to whoop him. So looking forward to reading Joe Layden's take on that fight and its aftermath. And here's one I'm really excited for because there's simply not a lot of literature on this fighter. The prize fighter and the playwright Gene Tunney and Bernard Shaw. Gene Tunney, I think, is one of the most underappreciated heavyweight fighters in history. Only lost one fight, and that was avenged. And this is written by, I believe, his son, Jay Tunney. And it comes highly recommended from a lot of blurbs from different folks here. The story of the boxer and the playwright has helped to put the soul back into an author who hid his humanity behind a screen of words. Apparently a lot of playwrights and authors loved Tunney, and Tunney would read Shakespeare while in training camp against Jack Dempsey. I remember Burt Randolph Sugar talking about that, and that the public really didn't latch on to Gene Tunney because he was a reader instead of a more brawler and Mike Tyson type, I guess. But I always loved the fact that a heavyweight champion was also a great reader. And I thought that was really cool. So I'm hoping that this book kind of deep dives into that and goes forth into that sort of thing. Anyway, that is what I'm looking forward to reading over the next few weeks. Hopefully it won't take too long to get another video out. If you've read these, let me know in the comments section. Which one's your favorite? Do you have any other books that I should try to check out? Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.